May.
Thank you so much. Hi, Victoria. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Victoria, how are you doing? I guess that is my first question for you. I know that you were stabbed in the back. How are your injuries and how are you doing?
I got a stitch. I'm just trying to heal, rest. Emotionally, I really don't know what I'm feeling at the moment. So, yeah.
Understandable. Victoria, how long have you lived here in Las Vegas?
For about 4 years.
And how long were you one of these girls on the strip, taking pictures with people? How long have you been doing this for a job?
That day was my ninth training shift. So
Wow.
I was
Wow. So you
very
just
new.
started.
Yes.
Have you ever heard from anybody else anything even close to this happening? Because it seems to me like it's a pretty safe job, right, Victoria?
Yeah. I love my job, and like since
Yeah.
the day I started, I enjoyed it. So
Hmm.
I never thought this would happen to any of us.
Right. I don't think anybody did, Victoria. I don't want you to have to relive again what happened because I know you've done other interviews and I don't really want to put you through that. But I do want to ask you this. Did he say anything to you? Do you recall him, the person who stabbed you? Did he say anything to you before this happened or even while everything was going on? Do you remember him saying anything at all?
No, when he approached Maris, because he came onto Maris' side, she was on my right side. Um, he was the one that told her that he wanted to take a picture and that he was a chef and that he had a knife. When he wanted to take a picture, I said specifically, I said of course, and then I tried to ask him where he was traveling from. I looked him in the eye. He didn't say anything. He just went on to grab that piece of cloth from his suitcase and he just took out a knife and then he attacked us.
This might be a hard question for you to answer, but do you think this was premeditated or do you think this was just a psychopath that just snapped? Or did you think that this is something that he wanted to do or it was just in the moment thing? What do you think?
I think he was going through something and he was desperate and he needed help and it was definitely unprovoked. He was there to hurt us. He wanted to hurt people and he needed.
Yeah. I mean, this is obviously something that none of us will ever forget. I can't even imagine, what you're going to be going through here. With that being said, is this something you could ever see yourself doing again? Being able to go out there and take pictures with tourists? Or do you feel like, this incident, that's it. I can't do this anymore?
Honestly, I can't answer that question now.
Hmm.
Right now, I don't see myself doing anything out
Hmm.
in the public. I can barely go out in public on my
Right.
own without feeling the
Right.
need to look around my surrounding and everybody around me.
Do you feel like you running from the perpetrator may have saved your life?
Yes. If I was just a few inches closer than him, he could have stabbed me first, and I could have been the one that wouldn't be here. And him attacking Maris first saved me and Anna's life because we had time to run, and our back was towards him. And me falling personally really did save my life and prevented me from having more injuries or worse injuries.
Victoria, I want to talk about the heroes that day, yourself and those that helped the wounded. Let's talk about that. I would imagine there were some innocent bystanders that came by and helped you. At least those are the reports that I heard, and then the EMTs that showed up pretty fast and police. Can you talk a little bit, Victoria, about the people who may have even saved your life and the innocent bystanders that helped all of you?
When I ran towards the wind and I was looking for any security that could help me. I know that when Maris was stabbed, Anna was there to try to help her with her wound, and that she got stabbed while helping Maris.
Hmm.
Um, and she was actually there when Maris took her last breath. The security that went ahead and helped me um, um, he kind of was like, he didn't understand what was going on until he saw me bleeding. And there was some ladies that tried to help me calm down that I needed. They provided me like with water and stayed with me until the paramedics came.
Victoria, I have to applaud you because even in the face of just absolutely horrible circumstances, you were able to refer to the perpetrator of this as someone that needed help. You are approaching this from a compassion that, quite frankly, a lot of us here in the Las Vegas community do not have for that individual. Your viewpoint is very refreshing, and I understand. Obviously, I cannot even try to put myself in the position that you're in right now, as far as from a psychological standpoint, what you're dealing with. But I think kind of your approach to this whole thing is really something that a lot of us can look up to from that standpoint.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I want to ask both of you this. How can people help? I want to help. I want our listeners of this radio show to help. I know you guys have some GoFundMe set up. The community, one thing I will say about Las Vegas, and I think both of you will agree, if you remember the October 1 shooting, which was horrible, the community came together, right? We helped the victims and their families. I want to know how we can all help you guys. How can we help you? What can we do? What GoFundMes are set up? How can the community get involved? Can you give us that information?
I'd like to field this question. First of all, it is commendable, the point of view that she's taking, and it is shared by our entire company, that people who are not mentally ill don't stab 8 strangers. This is somebody that needed help. And when we realize that, then, the next thing that we go to is, how could this have been prevented? And, the situation is this. This person recently, there's an interview now out 2 days ago. He was interviewed by Telemundo, and he told them that he was homeless, that he felt like he was in danger, his life was in danger, that he, was suffering and sick. So right off the bat, we know that this is somebody with a illness that is not being addressed. Okay, well, is there a facilitation for our mentally ill, to be given care?
Right.
No, there isn't.
It's a good point.
And it's widespread. It is a great point, and it's honestly the only point, okay, because nothing could have prevented this other than this person having got the help that they needed, right? Okay, and then so you step away from that, is there an infrastructure for the mentally ill to get help in America? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is one of the least funded. It is one of the least addressed issues in our community, yet it is one of the most dominant conversations in media in America, violence in America. We have these mentally ill people that are roaming the streets, killing people unprovoked. So how do you address it? You address mental illness in our communities. We listen to conversations right now in Congress, begging for money for mental illness efforts, to address these people, with zero success. Widespread across our country.
You're right. I want to add something as well. I agree with everything you just said. This individual also said that he was recently put on medication, and after he was put on medication, he felt like somebody was out to kill him. So that's something else. What you're saying is absolutely right. This was somebody who was mentally ill, who knows what he was put on. And you're right. I mean, we have a problem in this country when it comes to mental illness, and we don't do enough to attend to that. And maybe if someone had caught this guy sooner, maybe this doesn't happen, and these 2 people are still alive, and Victoria and others wouldn't have been stabbed. I agree with you 100%. Can you give out the GoFundMe information if you have that? How can people donate and help?
Okay. Let me just, and this is super important. I want to address this because we wouldn't be having a conversation if it wasn't for this GoFundMe, but he was caught. He was caught in Los Angeles.
Right.
And he was brought in on criminal domestic violence charges. He was failed to be charged. They failed to turn him over to ICE, and they let him go recently. Again, to this narrative, what can be done, what can be done. Not only are we failing in the mental health aspect in our country, but we're failing to protect our women. We're failing spectacularly as far as domestic violence in this country. This person was in custody. This person could have been charged. This person could have been turned over to ICE, although that's an entire conversation. This all could have prevented. Every step of the way, there have been failures, with the exception of what the girls could have done, and even what the security and the police here and the casinos here, while they have failed spectacularly in their relationship with Showgirls on the Strip, and not just my company. I can only speak for my company.
What would be your message to Joe Lombardo? What would you say to him right now if you had the opportunity?
That these girls are working within the confines of the law. Not all of them, but I've been in business here for 12 years, and in 12 years we have been without incident. We've never had anyone robbed. We've never had anyone sexually assaulted. The only problems that we have ever had is when the police aggressively intimidate. They break the law, intimidating the girls. They lie to the girls and tell them that they're going to take them to jail for something that they're doing illegally. And this is manifest and proven by the fact that on several occasions, the casinos themselves have been sued, and that this has gone to the highest courts in Las Vegas. And those courts have stated repeatedly that, when the women are operating in the confines of the law, that they can actively and passively ask for tips. That on the assumption that they are not breaking any of the laws, it is an understood thing that these girls are part of this community, that when done correctly, and certainly by my girls and my company, that we represent Vegas in a very respectable, beautiful way that serves this community and serves those casinos. And this, endless money grubbing, lack of willingness to profit share, despite the fact that they're about $98 billion a year in pure profit, that they spend their time and energy. The girls, 110-degree weather. If the girls walk in and ask for a glass of water, the security aggressively throws them out of the casino.
Cheryl, I want to be clear on this. I want to be clear on this. I agree again with what you just said. There are some people out there, a minority, that attack your girls, not physically. I'm talking about verbally. Oh, they're beggars, and it's sleazy and this and that. Let me be very clear, because that gets me angry, Cheryl, as I'm sure it gets you angry. They are taxpayers. They are working. They're not harassing anybody. They're not handing out like smut, those advertisements for hookers. They're not doing any of that stuff. I have a problem with that, by the way. What is the problem with beautiful showgirls on the Strip taking pictures with people working for tips? I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. They don't bother me one bit. Heck, they can be Chippendalers or they could be beautiful women. It doesn't matter. They're not I've never had forget about even the women in your company. I'm talking about any of these companies. I never had anybody harass me or anything. It's very simple. You look, if you want to take a picture with them, you take a picture. If not, you keep walking. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't understand the harassment from security, from law enforcement. Your girls do absolutely nothing wrong, and that is even academic to this horrible stabbing that took place. So I am with you 100%, and I don't like the rhetoric being put forth by people saying, they shouldn't have been out there to begin with, and they're doing this and they're doing that. The bottom line is your girls weren't breaking any laws, right?
Not at all. Representing our city in a very respectable manner.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
To circle back here, you talked about what needs to be the focus from both, a government level, whether it be state or obviously local here in Las Vegas. But after this horrific incident took place here in Las Vegas, what do you think? Do you envision? Do you anticipate that there is going to be needed to be changes regarding security for your people down on the Las Vegas Strip, given what has took place a matter of a few days ago?
Okay, well, you know what? Here's what we know. We know that there is a task force on the Strip. There's 600 cameras at any given time. That in real time, they, on a daily basis, successfully thwart a lot of the safety issues. In other words, that the casinos very much recognize their need to protect the tourists, right?
Yep.
So, and with a little bit of investigation, you find out that there's so much scrutiny that they're watching, in real time, that they are in constant communication with the police officers. They're in constant communication and watching all of these things unfold, right? Do I think that this is a spectacular failure on somebody that was on the strip's part? No, I don't. This man was not behaving in an aggressive manner. There were no telltale signs, other than that that he was let out of California's custody in the first place. I think that everybody in Vegas and everybody that was involved that could have been culpable could not have seen this coming. But what they could have done is they could stop with the perpetuation of this narrative amongst their employees, i.e. the security and the casino workers, that these people are not deserving of protection, because they are. And, despite their best efforts, this has now turned into another situation where people are questioning whether or not the Las Vegas Strip is safe. Right. And if we're not keeping these women safe, answer me why not? Because if the only answer is that you paid for the, casino to be built, and you paid for Celine to sing, and you paid for all the advertisement at the airport, and you don't want a profit share while you're making $98 billion a year.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Is that your answer?
No, I'm with you.
That's why you don't want to protect them?
Those are very fair questions, Sharon. I'm with you. I have one more question for Victoria, if that's okay. Victoria, I know that right now your goal is to get well physically with your injuries and also mentally, and I also understand this is not something you may ever get over, rightfully so. With that being said, you might have your time in court where you will be able to talk to the perpetrator. I'm just curious, if you had the opportunity to say anything to this man who did this to you and so many others and terrorized you guys, what would you say to him?
I wouldn't. I'd say I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
What is there to say?
Yeah. No, I understand.
This person, this is a 19-year-old girl who, just escaped the oppression of that which it is to have, especially in this town, so exploitative. Right. Here she finds a job, a community of women that accept her, a space where she's safe, and she's doing well. And there's 50 women that work for me entirely that all this man may very well have robbed all of them of this amazing opportunity.
Right. No, I understand. Well, listen, Victoria, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. I hope you get well from a physical standpoint soon. I'm glad you were able to speak with us even. I do appreciate that. I know I can't even imagine how difficult this has been on you, and we're with you. The city is with you. And to Cheryl, I'm glad that you were able to join us as well. I can't imagine how difficult this has been on you. If there's anything that we can do, let's keep in touch. We'll gladly do it for you, and we support all of you, and we're so sorry that you all have had to go through this. But like I said, we're with you, and you also raised some pretty good questions, and maybe down the road we can have you in studio and maybe talk a little bit more about some of those issues that you discussed. But to both of you, Victoria and Cheryl, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and our thoughts are with you. Okay, thank you, ladies.
Wonderful. May I just give you the GoFundMe?
Please
Otherwise, it wouldn't even be worth having a conversation.
Please do.
The GoFundMe. Go to GoFundMe.com. It's Las Vegas Showgirl Recovery Fund. And please be generous. These women, this is a profit-sharing group of people, and we are all at a standstill. Our doors are shut. And aside from all of the medical expenses that they have, I would really, if I have anything for the community, please help these girls have the peace to pay their bills and focus on their recovery and focus on their ability to just walk outside and, make their spirits whole again. And if you can give $5 collectively, that will give them ability to pay their rent and buy some food and, get some therapy And all of these funds, I guarantee personally, are going to go help this Showgirl family.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to repeat that. The GoFundMe page, which is Las Vegas Showgirl Recovery Fund. Go there. I know I will after the show today, and we hope our listeners do as well. Cheryl, Victoria, we wish you both the best, and we appreciate your time in coming on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. That's Victoria and Cheryl Lothorpe, the owner of Best Showgirls in Las Vegas. Victoria was stabbed in the back. That was very chilling information that she gave us in the moments that she was stabbed and she was running from the perpetrator. That was just, wow. By the way, I didn't know Victoria was going to be on the line as well. So, but I'm glad that she was at least able to tell her story and explain to people the horrific moments. You never get over something like that. That's traumatic, and we've all had traumatic experiences in our life, some worse than others. But you never get over something like this. I'm glad Victoria is okay, at least physically. She's going to make a full recovery. Mentally, we wish her the best, and she needs to get some help. But hey, Cheryl brought up some very good points when it comes to these showgirls, and there are some people that are attacking this type of business. I see absolutely and positively nothing wrong with it. They weren't breaking any laws. There are some people that want to say, oh, they're hustlers. Really, in this society, what is wrong about being a hustler? Why is that
Especially
a bad
in
thing?
Vegas? Are you kidding me? This
Yeah.
town is full of hustlers at every level.
Yeah, and
Give me a break.
And Victoria is 19 years old. I didn't know that. Let me repeat that.
Still a kid.
She's a 19-year-old. She's a teenager. And she almost lost her life, and she has to live with this for the rest of her life. Let's have some compassion. Let's have some sympathy. I see some people on social media attacking these type of businesses. You all are disgusting. Yes, she does make a very valid point. This is someone who was in this country illegally, and they committed a serious crime. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. This person should not have. I agree with that side of it.
It brings back visions of what went down in San Francisco, right, when the woman was murdered.
Yes.
And, of course, it became a huge political story, given, with respect to immigration and illegal immigration.
I don't agree with Republicans when it comes to a lot, but I am going to take their side on this one. If you come to this country illegally and you commit a felony, you cannot stay in this country. You are gone. Period. End of conversation.
That's a very logical point to take.
End of conversation. Now, I don't know the specifics about his arrest. I don't. But if, in fact, that is true, that he had some sort of domestic dispute and was charged and convicted, he should have been sent to ICE and he should have been deported. End of conversation. We will learn more about that as the days and weeks come. I agree. I appreciate Cheryl Lothorpe, the owner of Best Showgirls, joining us. I really appreciate Victoria coming on. You can hear it in her voice, rightfully so, the trauma that she's experienced, and you can see how hard it was for her to even talk about this. But
a very difficult spot to put her in. Put her on live radio. Just a matter of hours/days since it took place.
Well, I appreciate her coming on and sharing her story, and I really liked the one part of that I really liked hearing was the heroic behavior of some of the people that were here in Vegas, whether it be EMT workers or innocent bystanders. One guy taking his shirt off and putting his shirt and pressing it on the wound, and just people, just innocent bystanders helping, not really know what was going on, but still doing their best to help people. I love hearing that side of it, as I did on October 1, hearing the heroes and the people that were taking the bodies and CPR and sending, driving them to the hospital. While it's very difficult to hear, it's also inspiring to hear strangers doing everything they can and putting themselves in harm's way to save others. We wish Victoria the best. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, what